accepted the fact that my YouTube channel is never gonna get to a certain level. So, I'm kind of just using this channel as a, how do you say it? As a therapy tool. It's like my online diary or something. My online diary where I talk about everything that happens in my life, all my secrets, all my dark history. Honestly, obviously, I'm not gonna say everything, but I'll say a few things. Um, you know, I've been listening to Game of Thrones lately, like the audiobook. I've been listening to Game of Thrones audiobook. Fuck, my little toe is so fucked, man. That stupid fucker fucked up my toe in jiu-jitsu when I was training with him. Like, we were sparring, we were going for like some, not sparring, like drilling. I was going for like a little takedown, and then the dude fucking reversed it, went for a double leg, and squished my toe. And I mean, it's healing. The mold's not broken. Nothing's broken. It's just fucking hurts whenever I put it on the floor. It happened yesterday, so of course it's gonna be fresh. But yeah. To get to the point, I've been listening to the Game of Thrones audiobook lately. Which one? The first one, a Game of Thrones. It's like it's big. For all you guys out there that don't watch Game of Thrones, it's loosely based on the War of the Red Roses, like the Tudors and the monarchs in 1600s. Like the War of the Roses is basically based on the War of the Five Kings. So essentially, what happens in the story is Eddard Stark. He's the head of the family of the Stark family. He's the Lord of Winterfell. And Winterfell is basically their base. It's where they live. It's their castle. You know how a king has a castle? That's their castle. And then all of the outlying villages are basically bannermen. They're people that are loyal to their lead lord, who is the Starks. Every other house in the Dominion of the North is a bannerman of the Starks. So there's this fictional world called Westeros. And then there's multiple families that are vying for power and trying to gain the throne. And gaining the throne means that you have the ultimate power. Not necessarily, because there's a lot of backstabbing that goes on in the show. There's a lot of betrayal. There's a lot of two-facedness. There's a lot of turncoats. It's a complicated and very interesting story. There's a lot of different characters in them. You can listen to the audiobook or you can read the books, A Song of Ice and Fire. But the thing is, like, I like to listen to the audiobooks because I can listen to it quicker than if I read the book. It takes a lot longer to read the actual book than to listen to the audiobook. And I really like Catelyn's part because, in the audiobook, there's like chapters in the book. And in the audiobook, it's the same. So each chapter has like different characters like Arya, Catelyn, Eddard Stark, Tyrion. I haven't explained all of the major houses yet, so I'm going to get to that. Tyrion of House Lannister, he's a major character in the story. And the book doesn't really talk about each individual character because there's major characters and then there's minor characters. In each chapter, like Tyrion, he's of the House Lannister, right? So everything about the Lannisters is going to be incorporated in him. But it also depends on a lot of different factors, And I didn't explain everything yet. Westeros is like this fictional land, and then there's like these major families. There's the Baratheons, there's the Starks, there's the Tullys. They control the Riverlands, which is like a major hub. And then there's the Lannisters. Well, actually, let me start again. Lannisters, Starks, Baratheons. The Baratheons were the kings during the book. The first book, it's Robert Baratheon who's the king. I mean, and the other major houses are the, what do you call it? Highgarden. Tyrells. The Tyrells. See? Tyrells, and then there's the Starks, and then there's the Arryns, that control the Vale of Arryn, which is like a little place that's like it's like a mountainous region that's kind of not populated very much, and it's kind of arid and desert. not desert but arid. It's not really somewhere where you could thrive. Um, and then there's Dorne, you know, which is like deep south of Westeros. The deep north is Winterfell, and then the deep west is the Lannisters. They control the west. But then what happens in the story is, now I've explained all of the major characters and all the major houses. I haven't really gone too in depth into the houses because I'm not a dictionary. But and then what happens is, like, Robert Baratheon of the House Baratheon, who I just explained, Eddard Stark of House Stark, they rebelled and they came together against the Mad King called Aerys Targaryen because he killed their father, and then he wanted to kill Eddard Stark too. And then what happened is they raised their banners. The Arryns, the Starks, and the Baratheons rebelled against the Mad King. The Lannisters stayed loyal to themselves, as expected. They didn't take the field until they knew who would win. And the Riverlands, I'm not exactly sure. I'm not really exactly sure. I think they allied with the Starks. They were the rebels, and then the rest of the houses were all allied to the Mad King, like the Dorne, Highgarden. You know, all those major characters. They were all allies. The Lannisters were kind of neutral. They wanted to see who would win, who would lose. They wanted to test which is smart. You know, they didn't want to commit to any side because they didn't know who would win. Yeah, exactly. Why would you fight for a side that you're not sure is gonna win when it could lead to the ruin of your family and your house? That would be a bit, like, it would be very, how do I say? It would be very stupid in a way because, you know, you're risking everything for what? And then what if it doesn't work out the way you expect it to? Then you lose everything. You lose your house. You lose the seat of your power. It's not smart. Not at all. So yeah, I've been reading that book. I mean, listening to the book actually. But Catelyn Stark, man, she's like my favorite character for sure because I don't know. I like her character the most. More because her chapters seem very interesting to me. Like the way she always talks shit about her own son. She always kind of like gives a different perspective of Robb Stark. She looked at him as a boy. Then she released Jaime Lannister because she wanted to get her children back. She's a very interesting character. There's a lot of things that she says are true, but then there's also a lot of mistakes she makes. Because she let Jaime Lannister go with Brienne of Tarth to King's Landing. But why did she do, like, there was no guarantee that she would get Sansa or Arya back. Arya wasn't even with them, but she didn't know that, which is fair, but still. Yeah, but the trade also doesn't make a lot of sense. There's also politics involved too, which is interesting because there's a war going on. You're part of the Starks. You capture a very important person, part of the Lannister army, and you're going at war. You're at war with the Lannisters, and you capture one of their sons, and they have two of your daughters. The enemy has two of your daughters. The Lannisters have two of your daughters. Would you trade the Kingslayer, who's very proficient in arm-to-arm combat, who can lead a host to war, or would you do that trade for two girls, the Kingslayer for two girls? I mean, damn. And that's why Robb Stark didn't want to do the deal, because his bannermen would string him up by his feet and fucking rip his guts out. You know? Yeah, because you're trading you're trading two fucking girls for one big fish. You're trading like a little fucking worm for a massive fish. I mean, it don't make sense. The trade's not equal, you know? I liked it, like when Robb Stark gave the envoy those peace terms to Cersei Lannister in King's Landing. It was funny because like, what the fuck, bro? It was so funny, dude. Like, he thought he had more power than the like he acts so bold and brave and like a king, but it's like, and even when he was trying to cross the phrase, the twins, he wanted to destroy the whole thing and take it down and just go through it, which wouldn't have made sense because he would have lost like 10,000 men or something like this. Yeah, but Bruce Bolton told him that it wouldn't have been possible to assail the castle anyways. They had to like make that deal. And then he breaks the deal because he wants to marry this other girl that looks really pretty compared to the other one, which, I mean, I would have done the same shit, you know. I don't think I would have done the same thing. Like, if I'm the king of this country, like, this massive place that's like fictional, I'm gonna do whatever I want, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm the king, dude. I can do whatever I want.